In this lecture series, I will show you how out of a very basic cube, we are going to create this Apple Magic Trackpad. What is interesting is also how everything is rotated. You can see the edges are slightly angled, and then the bottom part is, however, flat. And all these interface elements are rotated too. And I will show you a very nice process how to plan this product, how to remodel it, and then detail it. Okay, so we will start with a new file. So we go File, New, General. As always, scene units, we set this to millimeters. I go to vertex and bounding box, and we will start with adding a cube. This cube we will set to x being 160 and y being 115, and z is 8 millimeters. We can frame the selected object, rotate because this has a scale factor, use the quick favorite menu, or object apply scale. Very nice. Then I can go to edit mode, edge select, select only the vertical edges, give them a weight, go to modifiers, add the bevel modifier. This should be 5 millimeters, segments 16. I selected 16 because that's half of 32. Limit mode should be only weight. Very nice. This looks pretty good. Now we can leave this, go to object mode, right click shade smooth, go to the mesh data, normals, turn this on, or when you have added this to your quick favorites, press Q and then select auto smooth. Very nice. Okay. That wasn't that complicated. Now let's create the transitional element between the main frame and the touch surface. We can go to Object, Duplicate. You see then the object moves around. I press Z, move it up, and click left mouse button. The Z-axis here is 0.75 millimeters. This adds a scale factor again. Object, apply scale. And I would like to move this one back down. Go to the move command, move this down, hold control and snap to the correct edge. Now this is actually flush. This has to go in 2 millimeters each side. That is actually very easy to do. We switch to edit mode, face select, select this face, move command, drag the Y. This is, as we can see, a positive value, so I type in 2. And X, that's also positive, so just 2. Minus 2. Minus 2. There we are. Okay. Nearly done. We can take a look at the top. What is wrong? The distance or the offset is actually correct. The radius, however, is not. We zoom in there, we can see that it gets thicker. Why? Well, we moved the edges, but we kept the value for the bevel the same. We moved this by 2 millimeters in. That means 5 millimeter radius minus 2 millimeter material thickness difference, or offset, is 3 millimeters. You see with 2 or 1 it gets closer, or 0, so it will be 3. Okay, now there you see that actually looks better. Another element in this close-up we would like to point out with the bevel command, which is very nice here in Blender, the way how they solved it. Under profile, we have something called shape. So this is a line, and then we have a quarter arc and a line. It's fine, and just doesn't look very nice. It's also considered in CAD more like a G1 or tangent transition. I would like to have a nicer transition, so meaning the line is straight and then the arc starts flatter, then round, gets flatter, and then blends better into the line. So it should look more like something like a G2 or smooth transition. And the shape value here does that. And you see when we move this, we can push this out or invert it. Pretty cool. So maybe a 0.6. Yeah, you see that actually looks nicer. We can select our main object here too, go to profile 0.6. There. That looks much better. What about 0.55? Maybe 0.55 so we can preview this. Now you can still see this is too flat. So let's go 0.6. This is just a really nice transition. So if I would with my finger touch along this flat surface, at one point I would feel that the surface would make a transition, but I could not feel where the line would meet the arc. With the value of 0.5, here your finger clearly will feel, oh, the arc starts, the arc ends. Okay, this is also something we will go into detail when we work in Fusion 360. I bring this up here just to show you how similar we can work in Blender, more on a conceptual level, and then in Fusion 360 in a more precise manner. Okay, so with this done, this we can make a copy. I will now use the key shortcuts, so Shift D and Z, move this down, click, then G and Z, so G for grab, Z for the Z axis, hold Control and snap it back to the bottom. Pretty cool. I can call this bottom frame, maybe spacer. And now I need the touch surface. I select my frame, Shift D and Z, 1 millimeter, Q, and apply scale, or object apply scale. GZ, hold Control, and be careful where we snap to. There we are. Pretty cool. Nice. Let's select everything, A, and then GZ. Move this up a little bit, because we don't want things to be right on the ground too. Okay. Now, below we would like to put 4 feet. So Shift S, cursor to world origin, so it's all set. Add mesh cylinder, 64, radius is 3, depth is 0.25. Very nice. Let's take a look and zoom in. Also here you see when you zoom in a lot, at one point you might not be able to zoom as much anymore. Simply go to View, Frame Selected, and then you can zoom in even more. And when you start seeing intersections like this, go to View and set this under View, clipping to 1. I started looking into the object because I'm already closer than 10 millimeters to it. So we will go to Edit Mode, Face select the bottom face, go to Items, Edge Data, click and drag, add a value of 1, Bevel, 2.5 divided by 2 is 0.125. Maybe 10, that's fine. And wait for the limit method, so only this blue edge is rounded. Object mode, that's good. Right click, shade smooth, and Q or auto smooth. We will take a look at the bottom. Now we go back to edge select, and I slide this over to there, slide this over to there. So you see that these edges are all good. And this I would like to move over by 4. So 4 millimeters and down 4 millimeters. So now I have a nice distance, 4 by 4. Pretty cool. Let's rotate this, and I can see where this object is. So it's a little bit off, or not off, it's a little bit inside the ground. It has a height of Z 0.25. So I would like the bottom part to be really on the ground. So let's do a little bit more of snapping and moving the object center. Go to edit mode, face select, Shift S, cursor to the selected. Object mode, right click, origin to 3D cursor. And there we see, this is actually 0.125 under the ground. 0 and enter. There, this is now nicely on the ground directly. I can select all my objects here, hopefully, there. Then GZ, move this down, hold the control key till it snaps to it. Pretty good. Okay, so it was one very easy way to position everything so it sits on the ground correctly. This I would like to mirror along X and Y for the bottom. You see also I can pick objects here in the outliner too. There we are. Okay. Now that actually doesn't look too bad. So we have the main body done. Then in the next video we will add all the missing interface elements, and then we have to rotate the whole part, and then we'll show you how we will solve that problem.